Let's pray. Okay. Heavenly Lord, thank you so much for bringing us all together and just allowing me the strength and the confidence to talk about the subject that we are talking about today. I ask that whoever ears needs to hear this, hears this, Lord, and whoever is rejecting this, that you soften their heart to open up to maybe some of the traumas that they've dealt with, that they've pushed in, that they've pushed back, that you just open up everyone's hearts who may be doing these things to their partners and may be committing these heinous acts against their partners, that you soften their hearts so that they can see the error of their ways and begin to love and cherish and care for their family and their home and their spouse. And I pray that if anybody has gone through this, that you allow them to heal and you allow them to understand that everybody makes mistakes. And it's not their fault that people make mistakes. It's not their fault when they can't control a situation, but the situation that they can control is to get help. There is help everywhere, and you cannot be too afraid to go and get help, because your faith has to be strong enough. You have to know that if you are strong enough to ask for help, God is powerful enough to give it to you. And he will give it to you with the protection of all his angels, so that you don't have to deal with that situation. No one deserves to deal with that. Someone beating on you and doing all these things to you, that's not love. That's their trauma that they're inflicting on you, and you do not deserve it. Please, Lord, whoever needs to hear my words, let them hear those words, because I know you allow me to say that for somebody. And I pray for their freedom, and I pray for their breakthrough today in Jesus' mighty name. No one can take that from them. No one. Let them lift your name up high and trust in you to get out of their bad situation, Lord. In Jesus' name we all pray. Amen. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Sage, and I am continuing a series called Raw Conversations, Domestic Violence Edition, I guess you can say. So I'm going to be talking about my experience with that and how it all started. I'm going to start, because what I recorded, I did not start from the beginning. I started from college, but I kind of want to start from the beginning just so you guys can have a background of how that whole situation that you're going to hear happened, right? So I met him online when I was 14 years old. So if you are old school back in the day, you might remember something called Boost Hook. I can't remember what it was called before that. Air G. If you guys are old school, put it in the comments if you remember Air G. And then it upgraded to Boost Hooked. Okay, like HOOKT. And so I met him through that service. Basically, it's like an online service. You're supposed to meet people, like just like dating, whatever. And yeah, so I was 14, and I want to say he was 19 at the time. And yeah, he was 19. And so that very first day, like I don't like to say this, but every time I think more and more about it, I'm like, he was a demon. He was a demon. I dated a demon. But anyways, okay, so the very first day that we like decided to meet and link up, first of all, I was 14 years old, and he had me catch all these things to go to Long Beach. Okay, I lived in Los Angeles at this time, and I lived in Inglewood at this time, which is kind of really close to Los Angeles. Anyways, I lived in Inglewood at this time, and he lived in Long Beach. So I had to take 2 trains and like a bus to get to him, and then he met me at the train station, and we went to his house. 14 years old. I should have knew he was not no good man. If you cannot come and meet me in my hometown, when you got a whole car and I gotta take two trains and a bus for you to meet me at the train station closest to your house, and I'm ditching school and doing all this stuff, demon, predator. Why are you talking to a 14-year-old anyway when you 19? Predator. But I had no love. Okay, I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted somebody to like me. Like, I grew up, I was bullied, you know, like for being darker skinned, for having short hair, for having nappy hair, which is kinky. Don't hate on my coils, okay? Don't hate on my coils. Anyways. But you didn't have that kind of like reassurance when you were a kid. You're just growing up knowing that that's when all of them, like, it was all about light-skinned people, like all about light-skinned people, and if you weren't light-skinned, you weren't cute, and you weren't red bone, and all that other crap, okay? Like, beauty, I'm fine. I don't care what you say, light-skinned or not. I love my skin, okay? Look at that. Okay? But anyways, I didn't feel like this when I was 14 years old when I met him, and that's how he was able to prey on me. I didn't have the self-love that I have right now. So, I mean, maybe if it wasn't for that relationship, I would have never found it. I have no idea. But what I do know is I drug my little 14-year-old behind to his house, and somehow throughout all the lies he was telling me, just charming, you know, I convinced him. We almost did it. Like, we was there. Like, he kinda, and I was just like, you know what? No, this ain't right. Like, it's getting like, this ain't right, you know? But all he, like, in my mind now, I know all he wanted to do was just, like, have sex. Of course. That's all he wanted to do. Because why would you try to have sex with someone the first day you meet them? Bring them to your house? I was so dumb. Okay, thinking I know everything. I should have just took my little butt to school and kept it kosher, okay? Or to cheer practice. That's what it was. I skipped cheer practice. And then had the nerve to lie to my mama, telling her I was hanging out with some girl that I was best friends with in middle school. Ain't hung out with that girl since I went to high school. Okay, I was hanging out with a whole nother girl. And I'm like, oh, I'm staying the night at this girl's house. And my mom was like, let me talk to them. Let me talk to her grandma. I'm like, well, her grandma went to get us pizza and she's in the shower. I was just calling you to say, hey, you know, like to let you know where I was. Lying. This man had me lying. The devil. Anyways, jeez. So, because I wouldn't have sex with him that day or any other day, after that, he quickly broke up with me and said, I don't think you're mature enough for this relationship. I don't think this is blah, blah, blah. Mental abuse, psychological abuse. People were like, I told him I wanted to wait till I got married. Like, I was looking for the right person. He told me that I was being dumb, that was never going to happen, that it was basically impossible, and I'd be lonely forever. That's what he told me when he broke up with me, when I was 14 years old. And so it was kind of true. Like, I felt like that because anybody I tried to date after that wanted to do sexual things, you know. And so I did start doing sexual things, though I never had actual sex until I was 16. And so, and the sad thing is, this guy kind of raped me because I thought I could do the same thing I did with the ex, you know. Like, I thought it was like, get close just so he would know that I liked him, like that I loved him enough, or that I was like willing enough to try it, but I'm not there yet. And no, he just pulled my panties down and did it. Okay, he just did it. And so yeah, that was terrible. And so after that, I was just like, well, it's done. So why not? So when this guy, my ex, came back into my life at 16 years old, and I went to meet up with him yet again, lying to my mama, telling her I was at cheer practice, and I'm over here knocking boots with this guy. My husband just came home. But yes, like the devil. And I was just so, I didn't know about Jesus. I didn't know about his love. Like I knew about Jesus, but I know, like, I really didn't know him. I knew of him, but I really didn't know him enough to know that, girl, I've been knocking boots with this guy. He was the devil. He was literally a demon. And when I tell you guys more, you'll understand it. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and he knew that I was lonely and desperate, and he sent a predator looking for lonely and desperate people. That's what they do. This is why you have to build your children up and teach them the word and teach them that they're beautiful and to love themselves, and that their love comes from God, from themselves, from family, and not just from men. Like, I know when you're like young, so that's for me, like we start wanting relationship, we see our friends in relationships, and we start wanting that too. And when you don't look like society's idea of beautiful, and you already don't feel beautiful, that is a recipe for disaster. Like, I just wanted anybody who liked me. Oh, you think I'm cute? Let's try this out then. Like, they didn't have to be cute, you know? Like, I didn't just up and do any, like, not do, but like, I didn't up and just date anybody, but I dated a whole lot of people that I just was just like kind of about, you know what I mean? So, but him, I was like head over heels for him. Like, he was like tall and just, he looked just like, if you watch that video, but anyways, he was tall, curly hair, kind of like caramel skin. I wouldn't say light skin, but caramel skin, whatever. And yeah, and kind of like a bad boy, but intelligent type of thing. And so that is just what my dumb self was attracted to back then, because now that is not appeasing me. I'm just like, no. So, but you know what I mean? So, and that's just, it just was what it was back then. And so that just started. And once what solidified it, the reason I got so trapped was that soul tie, right? So I had already felt rejected, like some kind of way, like I had already felt rejected by him in the past, right? Because when I was 14, he had broke up with me because I wasn't mature enough and I didn't want to have sex with him. And so now I'm like, well, now we're having sex. So, you know, like, and it was all good and dandy for a little bit until he decided he started wanting somebody else or whatever. Like, and you know, he was like like he said him and his baby mama broke up, but I'm like, if y'all broke up, why she still buying you food? Like, why I gotta hide in the shower when she come bring you said food? Why I gotta, you know, like, why you gotta turn the lights off when she come over, or I gotta hide in the room and be quiet when she brings the baby? And but these were like just things I'm just like, oh, you know, because he would label her as crazy, and how like she would just get upset and she would go off and he didn't want us fighting. And I'm just like, but y'all not together, right? You know, like, and I should have known, because they broke up while she was pregnant. And I'm just like, who breaks up with their baby mama while she's pregnant? You know, men like him. And so, yeah, it was just terrible. Like, it was a lot, you know, and he used sex a lot to manipulate me, because I felt that is how I would keep him. And because he was like an avid cheater, I just felt like I was never doing enough in that role. Like, the reason he would cheat is because he just always didn't get enough. It just wasn't enough, you know, and or like I was doing too much, or I upset him, or just stupid stuff to always make me feel like, well, how can I be better? How can I, instead of just being like, well, you clearly ain't the one for me because I don't deserve to be cheated on. But I did not have that, because I grew up seeing my mom get beat, my mom get cheated on. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up seeing all of this bad relationship stuff, and I'm just like, well, okay, I know it can work out, like, because at this time my mom and my dad, they had reconciled and were dating again. Well, not like that, but they were like, he would come over and they would do their thing, but she didn't want like a real relationship. He would still go home to his long-term girlfriend that he was cheating on my mom with. So, you know what I mean? And so I'm just like, this is a mess. Like, I guess relationships are a mess. So what am I to expect except a mess? All I've ever had was a mess relationship, and now this is the best I can do. Like, he literally had me convinced he was the best that I could do. He would make me feel stupid all the time. Like, him and his friend, when his friend like stayed with us for a moment of time, they would like start saying stuff, and they would use big words, which I feel is really disrespectful, because he knew that I was dyslexic and I didn't know a lot of big words like that. Like, if I was studying something with big words, he would make me feel dumb because I needed so much time to study. Like, you don't need 2 hours to study that. You don't know what these words are. Like, you know, just the devil just tormenting me. And I didn't even realize how much he was just tearing me down, right? And so, yeah, and just always convincing me to just do bad things. He introduced me to weed and alcohol, and just he just did all kinds of just things to me, and I just never, you know. And my mom, I really wish she would have just told me no. Like she was so trusting, like too trusting. And maybe because I was like such a good kid, straight A student, and I always told her the truth even when I was over there. Like, oh, I'm going to see him, I'm gonna spend the weekend over there. Why would you let your 16, 17-year-old child spend the night at some grown man's house? Like, she didn't meet him and his brother, because his little brother was like living with him when we first started dating again. But I'm like, oh, was this one the first time? I think this is the first time we were dating. So she met him, and then when he came back into my life, I feel like is when she was just like okay with everything. And maybe she was okay with this predatory age gap, because she had a predatory age gap between her and my dad. My dad met her when she was a kid. My dad was a grown man. Like I said, they like 10 years apart. You know what I mean? So yeah, anyways, I digress. I think the reason my mom was okay with this happening was because of that. And so she said she can trust me. She took me to Planned Parenthood when I came home and told her I lied to her and I lost my virginity. Very next morning, I didn't even go to school. She didn't take me to school. She didn't go to work. We went to Planned Parenthood. She like helped me sign up for everything. So she was like, you don't have to tell me nothing if you're not comfortable with it, but this is where you come to stay safe. Make sure you come here, you get your condoms, you get your birth control if you want it, and you do what you gotta do. So I did get on birth control that day. And yeah, and so it was just a whirlwind of crap after that. She gave me her approval, unfortunately, and it was just a whirlwind of crap. It is okay to be a strict parent. We need strict parents in our teen years more than ever before, okay? Like our middle school and teen years, we do need strict parents, because that is when the world tries to corrupt you. And more than most of the time, it succeeds. You know, it succeeds. And I just wish I would have never met that man. I really, really do. But I would have never moved to San Diego, and I would have never met my husband. I would have never had my child. So, I mean, never say never, because I probably would have been living in San Diego. Like, more than likely. Like, probably. I don't know. But things happen the way that they happen, and maybe they happen so that I can tell you my story. So, I don't know. And yeah, and so I'm not gonna go into the details. Y'all can leave it in the comments if you want a second story time about details, because I mean, I'm gonna do them eventually. I'm gonna tell y'all, but I'm not ready to go into all the sexual stuff that he manipulated me into doing, and things like that. But yeah, so we're just gonna get into the rest of the clips that I already did. I just wanted to give y'all like a little background on this, like this guy, okay? Like how we met, how it started, how I fell into this soul tie. Yeah, and it just was terrible. You know, he cheated on me. He dumped me on my birthday for some girl that he cheated on me with or wanted to cheat on me with, or technically he did cheat on me with, even though they didn't have sex, until he used me for money to go on a trip to visit her. I'm pretty sure that I talked about this event. If not, I'll do another story time about it. But let's move on, because it has taken me 4.5 days to do these videos. I lost a lot of footage to those apps. And yeah, so I'm so sorry. If you guys are interested in this, just let me know. If you want to hear more, I have a million stories and they're coming eventually. But if you want them sooner than later, just let me know, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna look completely different. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the different types of abuse that I went through with my ex. I'll leave a link below so you can read over what they all are. I'm just going to give specific examples of those types of abuses because I went through that in the last video. And so there's physical, sexual, verbal, and emotional. Those are the same. Sorry. Physical, sexual, verbal, and emotional. Mental and psychological. Financial, economic, and then culture and identity. Those are the different types of abuse. Okay, but I know that we are talking about mental, verbal, financial, and physical, and I think I'm going to leave sexual for part 3, depending on how long all this takes. Okay, because there's a lot going on with that, and I just want to go in and just really release all the stuff so I can be done with it in that video. Okay, and so this is not, and like I said, obviously this is not the only thing. This is just one instance out of many, right? This was a on and off 6-year relationship. Okay, so, and it was on and off because he wanted to be with other people during our off time. But the moment I moved on, we had to be back on. We were back on. I couldn't be on with nobody, but he could be on with whoever he wanted to be on with. And then had the nerve to try to confide in me. That's emotional abuse right there. And we ain't even on there yet. We still on mental and psychological, but I'm just saying. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna just read it because it's late, and I'm gonna just read what I wrote. I wrote it for a reason. It's usually a guideline, but I'm tired, so please forgive me. So how it all started, well, this part of the section, how it started. I was in college, had a full, like, not scholarship, it was like financial aid, but it was paying for my dorms and all that stuff. However, it didn't cover the summer. I had my own room for my entire semester, like both semesters, the first year. And so what I did not know was that I was running out of my financial aid for the summer. So I got vouchers and stuff to pay my classes, but I didn't have anything to pay my room and boarding for the summer, even though I had straight A's when I finished the semester. Well, I had 2 B's, but the other 4 classes were A's, and I just didn't understand that. So I was trying to figure out what to do. And I didn't have a strong prayer life at the time. I just didn't have all the things. So I didn't think to fast. I didn't think to go to God. I didn't think to do none of that stuff. he was the first person I went to telling, all this stuff. And then I told my mom. Well, I think I told my mom first, because I called her while I was reading the letter. Like, as soon as I opened it and I was like, oh no, like, I called my mom and she was like, girl, just come back home. And so that's what I did. I called him and I told him, we probably won't be spending so much time together unless I can stay there like maybe 1 or 2 nights a week when I have these 2 classes, because one of them, because it's summer school, so one of my classes was 2 days a week, starts at 7 a.m. and then it doesn't end. It was like a 4-hour class. It was a biology class. So I want to say it was like 2 days a week, but I was also like doing full shift, like a full work shift and all the things. Like, I was doing all the things. So I was like, if I can just stay at your house these 2 days, it'll work out. Like, it'll work out. I don't have to worry about it. And see, the thing is, I had a wonderful best friend who did not mind. He lived in not downtown Los Angeles. He lived in Los Angeles, like in the hood, like Los Angeles. And I lived right outside the hood of Inglewood in Los Angeles County, but it was like going towards Hollywood. So you're just right outside the hood on Overhill Drive, because we were living with my grandmother at the time. Well, that's where my mom and everybody, but my grandmother at the time, my grandma got sick, my mom got sick. They just thought it was best to live together, because my mom couldn't work and afford her rent, and everybody out the house, everybody grown, I'm in college. She like, okay, let's do this. You go, I'ma go. And I just love my mom so much. I wish I would have known what I know now when she was still alive. So yes, I was not getting financial aid, and so eventually he convinced me that it would be smart, because he literally lived like 5-6 miles away from the college that I was going to. Maybe more than that. So he convinced me to move in with him, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's a perfect idea. You don't live too far away. Sure, I can do this. Let's do this. Let's move in. However, I had to catch the bus at this time, right? So I'm taking like, and if you've ever rode the bus, it takes some time. Even if you live 4 or 5 miles away, it takes some time, especially if you miss the bus or something like that. And so I remember doing that for a little bit, and then just thinking, why am I taking the bus back? Because by the time I get there, I gotta leave to go to work. Like, I have to leave to go back, to get this job, to go to work, because I was working at the Fat Burger by my school, which was great, because it was right by my school. So I started just staying at school to do my work, because I'm just sitting here trying to do my homework on the bus on the way to this house, like to his house, so he know where I'm at, so I can like check in. And I'm wasting bus money. I mean, I had a bus pass because of my school, but I'm just wasting time. I'm wasting time, right? Like, and I'm not learning nothing, because you got to look at your surroundings. I don't know if you've ever been to LA on a bus, but nowhere in LA County, nowhere, the bus is just not always safe, okay? And so I'm just like, this does not make sense. So I made the decision. I said, hey, and I told him one day, I said, the first day I made it, I said, hey, I'm going to stay here at the library and do my homework before I go to work. Like, I'm not going to take the bus back home. It takes too much time. I got to study. I got this big test coming up. It's like, my biology class was kicking my butt. I got in there and they were saying all kinds of words I could not understand. Okay, I was just like, what language language is this? Like, what are you guys talking about, right? And so I just really I wanted to make some flashcards, because that's how I study, like flashcards, like doing all the things, like, because I had dyslexia, like I had to do a whole bunch of stuff to make sure I can understand what's going on. People don't like realize that, but like I really had to like go in to get my A's. I really had to go in. Like memorization was like something that was so, God had blessed me with that, and I let him take that away from me. But anyways, so I went to, I did that. I did that for like a whole week straight, because I had 5 classes Monday to Friday, and then sometimes I would have to go on the weekends for the tutor, right? And like on Saturday for the tutor in the morning, and he did not like that. I was not spending enough time at home. He just, one day I got back, it was like 9 o'clock when I, my class was at like 8:30, like 8:30. And then I had a bunch of classes that day. It was like 2 o'clock, I want to say 3 o'clock when all my classes were done, because I like to do them back to back to back to back, just like high school, back to back to back to back. Maybe have a little break in between, but back to back to back, get them out of the way, right? So my day was pretty much done, but I had to go to work. My shifts were anywhere between 2 to 4 hours after my classes, depending on the day and the shift schedule. So if I had 2 hours or 4 hours, I would just go to the library and do my homework, and I could walk from my school to my job. Like I didn't have to take no bus or anything. Like I already took the bus to my school. Now I can just walk, to my job, and then take the bus home when I walk back. Like, so that was my knowledge. That's what I was thinking. But he didn't like that. I was gone for like, I guess, cause 8. Like I said, my class was at 8:30. So I had to have been gone by like 6:37. And he woke up, I wasn't there, and he's like, well, she has school, so that's probably what he was thinking. And then I didn't come home until almost midnight, because my work shift, like I was closing, so I had like this full shift that day, and I had to catch the buses, which they don't work that late, they don't go that late. So I missed I was supposed to take a train. I missed that train that gets me like walking distance from the house. I missed that train because I got off late, so I had to walk like 2 miles to take a bus. And so I got home a little bit later, I guess, than he was expecting. And when I tell you, he went off. I didn't even go to school the next day because we stayed up so long arguing and all the things. And I found myself just apologizing throughout all the time. Like, why am I apologizing for getting an education and working to pay your bills? Why am I apologizing? Why am I apologizing for your ego? Because he was out there cheating and he thought I was doing the same thing. Okay. Okay, next one. I went over a whole bunch of different abuses in that one. Okay. But we just gonna keep that as mental and psychological. But this is the thing, when you are abused, you don't realize how much abuse you're going through. Like, I didn't realize I was being abused for years because it didn't look like the abuse that I was normally seeing. Like, it didn't look like the abuse that we think of when we hear abuse. You think about bruises and wounds. Sometimes you can't see the bruises and the wounds. Sometimes they're on the inside, right? So, yeah. Okay, and so through all that, eventually he was able to manipulate me into dropping out of college instead of just going home to my family. I tried to go home so many times, and he would just say all these things, or he would just remind me why I didn't like being at home instead of reminding me why I didn't like being with him. But so now we're going into the financial part. When I was 16, we reconnected, and I had a job at this time. And so he had a job as well. But for some reason, I still find myself supporting him financially in some things. Like, I would be buying the food. Like, if he wanted snacks and stuff, I would be doing that or whatever. Like, and a lot of this was me and my insecurities trying to do what I felt like he wanted, like whatever he was hinting at. If he said, oh, I've been looking at these, I really want these, but I can't afford it, or something like that. And I knew I could because I was 16. I didn't have a lot of bills and stuff, you know, like I would get my mama $200-$300 here and there, but she didn't really, she should have took all my money. Okay, she should have been one of those parents. But anyways, because it would have been better to go there than to him. But I was just like, okay, you like me, okay, whatever I can do to make you stay liking me, right? So, yeah, so I mean, he would pay for stuff here and there, but like, eventually, he realized that I was his meal ticket, because I feel like he just did not even want to keep a job. He would just quit his jobs. He got tired of it. He'd be like, quit. Like, I don't need this. I got somebody that's going to take care of me. I don't need this. That's exactly how I felt towards the end, when this was like the 4th job he done did this with. And I'm just like, you know? And so the biggest one was where I was a server at, and the funny thing is, he helped me get that job because someone, I guess, got him that job. And he was like quick service, so he didn't make tips. But I went to serving, and I was able to make tips, you know, like I was doing like the sit down restaurants. I forget what it's called, like quick service and table service. So I was in table service. And I started off as like a dishwasher, but eventually I was able to be a server and make tips. And so the money, right? And at first he was fine with it, because I would get off, and they have the credit union like on site. So I would go to the credit union, little bank, because of course it's closed by the time I get off, but the ATM is open. I put my money in the ATM on the little card or whatever and go about my merry way. And eventually he started making me feel like I was hiding funds from him, because he didn't have access to my card because I keep it on me all the time and stuff like that. And so then he eventually made me feel like I needed to leave my card with him while I was gone. Like, just leave the card with him, put the money on it, and leave the card with him during the day. And I did it. Ooh, I did it. 20 years old doing this kind of stuff. And then, yeah, so eventually I kind of got privy to that, because I'm like, dude, why is my account empty? Like, why are you literally spending every single dime every single day? And so he was still trying to control me, you know, like he was still easing his way into it. And so I stopped putting money on the card. I would put a little bit, like half of the money I made on the card, and then I would keep the other half, like safe cash. I would hide it in the house. He found it one day, and oh my God, it was this huge fight. Like, it was this huge thing. Like, I should have just went to the bank and got a separate account and card. I wasn't thinking like that then. I didn't think get a different one, like get another card, put half on this card, half on that card. I didn't think about that back then. I was just like, I was a server, so you have all this cash. At the end of the night, you just like, okay, let me put half of this cash in. I'm gonna take the other half and hide it. And yeah, and so he found that I had like $300-400 hidden, and it was this huge argument, like this huge thing. And at the end of it, obviously, I felt like I needed to give him my money. I was like, you can take it. I'm not hiding anything. It's okay. I promise. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not a liar. I'm not trying to cheat. I'm not trying to leave. I'm not trying to do any of these things. I should have took that $400 and went home. Okay? With all my stuff, I should have called me a taxi, packed all my and went home. But I didn't. And we don't do those things. Why? Because we're so mentally conditioned to think that we need them, because we were never in a place of love and understanding and acceptance of ourselves in the first place. And he knew that about me the whole time. I told him when we met. Like, I told him when we met what the deal was. Like, I never had a boyfriend. I'm insecure, but you're really hot. Protect your kids, because kids are stupid, okay? I'm sorry to say it, but kids are stupid. Protect your kids. Oh, I really love him. You don't know what love is. You really don't. You love the way he looks. You love the way he makes you feel because you think he's a bad boy. No. I sent my daughter to an all-girl boarding school. Okay, and so, yeah. So eventually, like, he had convinced me. He found out that I was, like, hiding money. And it's like, it's sad to say that you're hiding your own money. Like, it's my money. I should not have to give it all to you. Like, why are you keeping tabs? You don't even have a damn job yourself. Why are you keeping tabs on my money? All the bills are paid. What I want to save my money for, I should be able to save it for. But what he wanted to do, like, when I was making that money, I was making anywhere between $200 and $400 a day, depending on the day, especially on the weekends. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm working a double, $400 a day easily, right? Wrong. It's terrible, because when you are being abused that way, they're gonna take it all from you, and that's what he did. So when he found out that I was hiding half of the money that I was actually making, it was this huge thing. And so what he was wanting to do with the money, he was buying like an ounce a day. An ounce of marijuana, if you don't know. An ounce a day. Smoking it with his friends and drinking and doing all this stuff, buying video games and all these things with his friends and his buddies, while I'm working 12-hour shifts. But I loved working my job because it got me away from that situation, right? And I just wish I would have been stronger to do that. Like I wish I would have known to do, just get you another bank account. He ain't never got to know about it. I could have been gone. I could have had all this money and been gone instead of starting from ground zero when I actually left. But anyways, if that's your situation right now and you feel like he needs to know your every single dime, every single minute, everything you make, go get you a bank account and tell them, don't send me get paperless statements, make a email that he don't know about. Do not sign into that email. As soon as you make it, delete it off your phone, all that stuff. Like, you have to, if you want to look at that email, you gotta go to it and physically sign in. Do that, okay? Don't let them send no statements to your house. Don't let them, don't send me nothing. Everything needs to be paper to this email, and never check that email. Have your little card and put your money on that card, okay? Do it. And if you have direct deposit, make it so it automatically goes into that account, because you can do that where you put like, I want 10% to go over here, like whatever 10% is, I want it to go into this account. Do that, okay? Set it up, do it that way. If it does not do it that way, don't have direct deposit. It might seem tedious to have to go and cash your check and stuff like that or whatever, but do that. Go cash your check and then put it in your other account, because you need that. You need that for yourself. You do. Especially if y'all ain't married. Especially if y'all ain't married. I was out here doing married woman stuff with a broke guy. I kind of went a little hood there. Sorry, y'all. Yes. Okay. And so this is also a form of emotional and psychological abuse. I'm just gonna say it now. So it was my birthday, right? And he broke up with me on my birthday. Didn't even remember it was my birthday. I was waiting to hear from him all day. And then I said, I'm like, hey, I want to say, I feel like I hit him up first. No, I didn't, because I specifically did not hit him up because I wanted to see if he remembered my birthday. And the first thing he said was like, hey, we need to talk. And I'm like, sure, talk about what? Like, what's up? I'm thinking he's like, oh, I want to see you. Like, we need to be closer together because it's my birthday. I'm thinking he's going to surprise me or something. And he did surprise me because he broke up with me over a freaking text message on my birthday. And then when I told him my birthday, he was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize it was your birthday. But I never forgot your birthday. And then the freaked up part is when his birthday came around, he was like, oh, I really, our fraternity is going to Northern California to meet blah, blah, blah. And though that part was true, he did not tell me the trip was going to be centered around the girl that he broke up with me for on his birthday. Someone lives all the way in Northern California when I live here in Southern California, and I see you all the time, and you leave me for her on my birthday and then ask me to fund your trip. I paid for his entire trip there. Gave him like $250, $300 to go on that trip. To sleep with another girl, to be with another girl. So of course, when I found out, I was livid, but I was still too stupid. I still believed his lies. I found out while he was there. And when he came back, it was like nothing ever happened. Telling you. So obviously, yeah, there was some physical abuse in that relationship, but it wasn't like my mom and my dad. It was still physical abuse. Like, he choked me, I choked him. Like, I definitely attacked him once because of all the cheating. This was after he had like told me about him cheating with a man, and then he had already cheated on me with all these women, and I found him cheating again. You know what I mean? So I was just over it, and he was trying to make me feel like it was my fault, like I wasn't doing enough. And I was pissed because I'm like, I'm paying all these bills, I'm doing all this, like I'm the one, and I'll get off a freaking 12-hour shift to come home and cook for you and your friends, you and your state friends, eating up all our food, all our money that I pay, that I do all the things for. I was just dumb. I just didn't know. I just wanted to be loved. And I didn't realize that I can be loved by literally anybody else, because he made me feel like I couldn't. He made me feel like I couldn't. Seriously. I literally remember telling myself, this is the best I can do, so I better make it work. I can't do better than this, so I better make it work. Well, God will show you, because look at me now. Look at me now. Right? Like, my husband takes care of the house, okay? At least I ain't doing 100% of the work, and you just laying back like you just some king providing everything. You ain't providing a dang on thing but stress and discomfort. And I'm sitting here living in it. Hallelujah, not no more. Not no more. So yeah, so we did get physical before. I do remember attacking him and choking him once, because I was just like, you ain't about to see her make me feel crazy. You did this. I remember that, because I have never felt so much rage, like, since I was a kid. Like, I hadn't felt that much rage. And then he definitely attacked me, more than once or whatever. And it's mostly because I would say something, like, I guess that was like uncomfortable for him to deal with, like, that he put me through. That was true. It was true. He just didn't want me to talk about it. Thank God I got away. Okay. Thank God. Thank the Lord I got away. And so there's going to be a part 3, and I'm going to talk about the sexual abuse, because I feel like that is a whole thing in itself, because there's a lot of subcategories of what sexual abuse is that I didn't realize until I was getting ready to talk about this. If you are in these situations, just know, just know you don't have to be. You don't have to. That's all I have to say. You don't have to be. They make you think you're so stuck that there's no way out. There's always a way out, okay? His name is Jesus. And even if you don't believe in Jesus, there's still a way out. There's still a way out. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. You were not here to be treated like that. Okay? I love you guys. I do. These conversations are so crazy. I can't believe I'm talking about them sometimes. And I just appreciate y'all being here with me, listening to me, hearing me out. I hope that it blesses somebody to know that they are not alone. And yeah, I just cannot wait to see you in the next one, so I can continue this conversation, because we're not done here. This is just a pause, and then we'll see the rest. Okay? So yes, thank you all again so much. Remember to like and subscribe. If this is your 3rd video, you already know what to do. If you don't know what to do because it's your 3rd video, that means you're supposed to subscribe, okay? If you make it to video 3, then you already know you like what you see. Nobody goes back for 3rds if they don't like it. Okay? Bye, I'll see you all in the next one.